Hi, everyone. Welcome to TSP Weekly. This is your tech startup podcast. We're episode 102. My name is Stephen Campbell. This is Amaris Gerson.
Good morning, Stephen.
How are you, Amaris?
I'm excellent.
We had a couple weeks off there. What's it feel like to be back?
Weird? Well, no, I missed you guys.
Ah, that's nice.
Not really.
Moving right along, as usual. Our guest today is Jason Cassidy, President, CEO, founder, and superhero of Shinydocs.
Thanks, Steve.
Welcome,
thanks,
Jason.
Amaris. Yeah,
You're
thanks for
welcome.
having me today. Congratulations on 100 episodes.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We lied about it. It's 102.
It's 102 today.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yep. So what is Shinydocs?
So at Shinydocs, we believe that changing how your company's information is managed should not mean changing how you work.
All right, now you're going to have to break that down. What does that mean?
I'll give you a quick example. So you like working in your My Documents folder in your Mac and your PC. You like using your shared drives, those types of things. And that works for you. Day in and day out, it works with every application that you work with. All your linkages between Excel spreadsheets and all those things just work. And as soon as you bring in...
They don't on mine, but okay.
That's okay. But as soon as you bring in, so your company says, hey, we're going to bring in an OpenText content server, an IBM FileNet, a Microsoft SharePoint, say, okay, start using this website and these drag and drop and enterprise sync and share tools. Get your stuff in there. And, oh, by the way, we're not going to work with your AutoCAD, your marketing design suite, and we're not going to work with linked Excel spreadsheets, but it's good for the company, so go do it.
So you make that process easier for the people that are using it because their company's made, I guess, your customers are enterprise and then...
Yeah, we completely eliminate that process.
Okay.
So if you have an H drive today that you're sharing and collaborating within your organization, and you got your My Documents folder where you've got your personal information, we make your My Documents folder, your H drive, we actually make that the enterprise content management system in the back end.
All right.
So we've built into the operating system in Mac and PC. We have mobile client as well and web client to keep the experience consistent, so you get your H drive no matter where you go. But from your perspective, nothing has changed.
Better.
So this is an extension of the BYOD, or bring your own device to work. It's bring your own software, where you're enabling employees to use what they want.
No,
No.
it's
No.
certainly
Not at all.
it is you're enabling your employees to just keep doing what they did yesterday.
Right.
Tomorrow, while you're compliant and records managed and all your information is being gathered into the corporate approved system.
Right.
I think we're going to struggle a bit because we don't work at big corporate companies that don't mandate that kind of stuff. I mean, yet any minute now it's going to happen. I don't know.
No thanks.
Grillbo could get there.
Yeah.
But it's that those big companies that have those sort of mandated processes that they want stuff recorded and kept on.
It's security usually.
Well, it's security. It is also, imagine you've built a bridge. And that bridge...
Bridge metaphor.
I love bridge metaphors.
This is this is not a metaphor. This is straight line. This is a precise example. You build a bridge, and that bridge has a lifespan of 100 years.
Okay.
That's what the municipality is paid for, is 100 years out of that bridge. So you have to demonstrate as the design organization and as the implementer, the person who went and constructed that bridge, that you are going to maintain all the records associated with that bridge for the lifespan of the bridge plus 25 years.
Okay.
That's your mandate. You absolutely have to be able to demonstrate that you're doing that. Otherwise, you're out of compliance. You shouldn't get paid, and perhaps you should go to jail when the bridge fails 25 years down the road, and we can't find the drawings associated with it. Why did Margaret Street Bridge fail? Well, if you didn't have the records of the original designs and be able to understand the structural integrity of it, then you wouldn't know what is going on with that. So
Similar to what I don't know. I don't understand
Exactly.
what's going on with this metaphor.
yeah.
No, I got it. I get it.
Yeah. So
I totally understand
so
because it's about keeping and maintaining records, and so that's why companies will sort of enforce those other systems. But you're making it really easy for the actual users to do that.
Yeah, traditionally,
We got
and
this.
OpenText is our big.
You're not needed here
OpenText is our big partner. They sell our product. We are the OpenText Technology Partner of the Year as the best-selling third-party
Yes.
technology. So let's gesture at the shiny trophy that they gave us. We got that in Nashville 2 weeks ago at their Enterprise World.
You got it in Nashville, but you're in Waterloo, and so are they.
Yeah, it's really weird, actually.
That's inefficient.
It is, actually. We have had a few executive meetings there as well in Nashville with people who work in Waterloo region,
That's
which
funny.
we could easily do here.
Yeah.
But it kind of sets the tone, is that we're at your Enterprise World Show, and
Right.
we're here to talk business and advance how we're going to sell more worldwide. So that's the way you do it.
Pretty big deal.
That is. So
Yeah.
we often talk about validation, like, why do you know this is a good idea? That's a great validation right there. There's a little bug flying
There is,
around
it's
us
a
here.
fruit
Yeah,
fly.
get
It
get
likes
that.
you.
There you go.
You're-
That's the
you're
only bug
insane.
in Distillery Labs.
I might get
Steve
him
got
again.
it. Yeah.
So
Pete-
that's
Peter's
great
gonna be all over you.
validation that you guys are in the right spot doing.
Well, thank
doing
you.
the right thing.
Yeah, the thing is, the practical reality, now that we've had 20 years of these big enterprise content management systems, is they're underutilized. And people, quite often they'll ask us, hey, well, what about, I use Dropbox or Box or Google Drive or that type of thing and within my organization, and aren't you guys kind of being like that? And the reply is, it never really comes up in our environment. When you have 20,000 employees within your organization, you have specific records management requirements associated with your documents, then you just can't use this generic cloud system that's good
Right.
for sharing your MP3s and your that type of thing.
Yep.
Yep.
You need a little bit more rigorous system. The sad truth of those systems is that they were built a long time ago. They haven't changed much because they can't. They're certified for Department of Defense and FDA compliance and all these types of things that you can't really change. So the problem is you're forcing people to work the way in systems that were built a number of years ago, but they want to work in those Google Drive and in
Right.
Box kind of ways.
Yeah.
So we say, don't forget learning something new. Forget learning the old thing. Just work in the easiest possible way. Just work on your desktop the way you would day in and day out if you didn't
Yeah.
have the system.
That makes sense.
Okay, so now we understand what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For being patient with
Awesome.
me. Because now
Hey,
I get it
no
better.
problem, Steve.
He's slow. So besides OpenText, we know OpenText likes you. Does anyone? How did you start off to know that that this was a good idea?
So starting off, this is one of the things that that we identified. We had kind of a hit list as we were growing our organization. We started off as a consulting organization
How
in
many years?
2005.
Oh,
So that's
you've been around for a while.
11 years
Yeah.
ago. So I worked previously in big companies, and
Okay.
when my first child was born, I'm like, if I don't go out on my own right now, I never will. So
Right.
that's so left the big company and started working on my own, and I had a hit list. There's a few things that I've seen and have been doing over and over again. I need to build a drive technology that is independent of stuff in the back end.
Okay.
I need to build a mobile technology that allows you to connect seamlessly to all of your content management systems without anybody having to learn anything and make it easy on mobile, because that didn't exist at the time. There was something as well, consulting over and over again. We were building, there was people coming to us saying, I'm having this event and I'm promoting it and I need to do a configurable website for that type of thing. And we had this hit list of a bunch of things that we
Right.
tried to do.
And that's within your skill set, your developer?
Yeah, I'm a developer. They don't let me write code that much anymore, but I still do a little bit here and there. But so let's just try on some of these technologies. Let's start building some of these things.
And the one that you found sort of stuck, customers like that?
Yeah, we validated it with customers, and one of the tricks for us is we're completely bootstrapped. We've never taken a single penny of outside money, and everything that we did was all in the context of find me 3 customers to validate this that are willing to say, I will give you money for that right now before we break ground on anything. Don't just guess and try to build it and then ask people, is this good enough? You got to go find 3 people that say, yeah, I will pay you for that.
So kind of like the Communitech Rev model, looking at revenue
Absolutely,
as opposed to
yeah.
funding.
Yeah, and it's we were actually graduates of a precursor to the Rev program.
Hyperdrive?
No, not Hyperdrive. This is something that perhaps you'd never heard of. This was Andrew Abuchar and Rod Foster had a program that I think they called it Revenue U or something like that.
Okay.
And what it was they were our mock board for the first year of Shinydocs Corporation, and that was back in 2014. So we would go every Friday morning, we would sit and we would say, this is what we're going to do next week to drive sales. And they challenge you on it. If you said, I'm going to make 3 phone calls, then that's just not going to work. But if you
7.
came in and said, I'm going to call, here's my hit list for the week, I'm going to call these 20 people, I'm going to close this one here, and we think that we're going to try to identify another $10,000 of revenue this week. You would go the next Friday morning, and you would either fall on your sword and say, "Oh, I got 50% of the way," or you would say, "I nailed it. Here's what we did."
Great.
And if you nailed it, they gave you a poker chip.
Okay.
That was what we were playing
Seriously?
for.
Redeemable for
Pride.
a prize. So after there was a couple of other organizations that were in there. Post Beyond was in there, and they're killing it out there right now. So good for them.
So it's almost like agile methodology for sales.
For sales,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So what happened with these poker chips?
So at the end, the poker chips were all added up. Shinydocs Corporation won.
Okay.
Not because we're necessarily the best or the worst or
Was
the
it because
medium.
you kept track of your poker chips? Did everyone else lose them?
No,
Because
no.
I would have done that.
Yeah, we all had our. It was David Yoon and I. He's our marketing manager, and we're both poker players, so we're good at maintaining and trying to keep most of our chips. So we showed up at the end. We had the most, and they gave us a $100 keg gift certificate. But which is. Yeah, you know what?
Good. It's good.
It's not Charcoal Steakhouse, but
that's not why you were doing it. You weren't doing it for a steak.
I didn't need that. We did it. Now, to be honest with you, the ability to say we won that program, we came out on top, is worth more than a free steak.
Right.
Like it was a challenging program. It taught us a lot, and it really got you to focus on what are you doing, how are you engaging, and how are you delivering on this from a customer focus. They didn't care about hearing about new developers. They certainly did not care about bringing in investment money.
Right.
If you brought in $10,000 or $100,000 worth of investment money, it doesn't count.
Which is kind of great. I mean, that is a focus of a lot of companies, is the investment money and the funding, and that's the reality. But it's amazing and should be seen more often is hey, shouldn't we make profit? And it should be a great early thing, and that's a fantastic program.
Yeah. Like it's people lose track of the fact that the investment is just kind of it's the present value of future cash flows.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if you don't have future cash flows, or you don't understand how you're going to make money, I really don't know how investment works. And I get that there's a lot of organizations out there that live on advertising and eyeballs and that type of thing, and they're killing it, and that's great. I don't necessarily get that business. I get that if we're going to do double our revenue next year, this is how we should be rewarded today and how we should value ourselves.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it depends on the type of business. You're not dealing to consumers. You're a B2B kind of business, so things are going to be a little different. Yeah,
and then you've got it in the right order: sales, stakes, and then awards.
Yeah.
So that kind of
exactly. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, don't put the awards first. Don't put the stakes first.
So it's 2016. Do you still go to the keg a lot? To reward yourself? I feel like that's something, right?
That's a thing?
Like you started your business that way and you were successful, so you got steaks. Now you should be getting steaks every year, is what I'm saying. I want to make sure steaks are being eaten. This is from your friendly vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian. Yeah, I was going to say, you're a vegetarian, aren't you?
Last quarter we had a record quarter, and
Okay.
it was really good. It allowed us to put money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed us to identify this is our runway, and more importantly than that, this is the investments that we're going to make. So you're going to see a little bit more aggressive R&D out of us. You're going to see new products coming out. We also gave everybody in the organization a $1,000 bonus.
That's
so
a few steaks.
Go eat steaks.
Yeah, all right. Okay,
and it
good.
was it's not something that necessarily you should do as a organization of 12 people because you need your cash and runway is the most important thing. But I don't know, everybody works pretty hard and they deserve it.
Is your people, right?
Yeah, you need your people.
Let's make everybody feel good.
So that was
about
my next question, Jason, is tell us about sort of the development of the company. Did it start with 2? Did it start with 12? How did you get to 12?
It started with him because he left his big company.
Yeah,
with one, or did you grab another partner?
It started with me. It was kind of an interesting local story. There's an organization called the Center for International Governance Innovation, who is
CG.
Yeah, CG.
We've heard of it. Yep.
Down at the.
They have a lot of glass on their building.
Yes, they do. It's lovely 2 buildings now. The Seagram Museum is just an exceptional building, and of course the Ball Silly School next door to it is beautiful.
They're not in the Seagram Museum
Yeah,
anymore.
they've moved next door. Yep,
All right,
Shopify is my understanding. I haven't visited them yet, but it's my understanding
fix
they're
that
setting
soon.
up camp there.
That'd be fun, yeah.
Yeah. So they got a grant for $7 million from the Ontario government to build an international governance portal.
Okay.
So I know a little bit about building portals and knowledge management, so I sent them a proposal. it was 12 pages saying this is exactly how you're going to build this international governance portal.
Were these double-sided pages?
No, that's single-sided. It was a pretty small font though. I think
double space?
Normally I'm like 12 or 14 point font, but this is back in like 2005. So I mean, you could use a smaller font back then. People
like a
paid
10.
more attention.
Are you guys two spaces behind a period at the end of your sentence?
Yes.
Or just one
Oh
space?
yeah,
You guys are both two spaces?
Two spaces,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and lots of commas.
And
Really?
emoticons.
really, I like to keep it crispy, short. And, sometimes one-word sentences.
Sorry.
Every word
Yeah.
is its own sentence.
Exclamation
Impactful.
point.
It's
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
So we're at 12 pages.
So sent them the proposal saying this is what you're going to do, and you're going to need my software and me to do it. So
they
Good
agreed?
sales pitch.
yeah, and it was accepted.
Yep.
So we
gotta
went in
learn how to do
there
that.
with
I like
the
that.
mandate to build up a team and to build a product.
Okay.
And they started off with some software that I already had, so they licensed that. And it was a successful project. We ran it for about 2 years. We got up to about 20,000 users
And you were a
on it.
consultant for them? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Consultant 3 days a week, not an
Right.
employee at all. I was working at other organizations doing new product development like AgFa Healthcare and others. I had 18 customers at the time.
Wow.
And you're talking about we. So is David on board yet? Or?
So no, David was actually working at CG at that time, and a couple of our other employees that we have right now are at CG at the time as well.
Oh,
so
you scooped them up.
yeah, no, it was all above board.
Okay.
How that happened. So at around 2007 or so, they decided to spin it out as a for-profit company. So they licensed my software and they spun it out as a for-profit company who's doing very well in town right now. And
Are we allowed to know what that is?
yeah, it's Igloo Software.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
They sponsor us.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a great relationship with Mr. Latondra, who
I was gonna say your story sounds a little bit similar.
We call him
Yeah.
Dan.
Dan.
But like the CG talk, I'm like, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
With Dan.
Eerily similar.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's a great spot. So I mean, if you're going to identify, and this is just an aside, it's not. I'll continue with the story.
Not a soliloquy.
But
we warned you about those.
Yeah,
earlier.
this is just an aside, and
Okay,
Steve
good.
said that was okay. If you're going to identify a good way to spin out organizations,
Yep.
that's a good way. Having an investment in a specific problem that you're trying to solve, this international governance portal, bring in organizations and pay them to build this thing, that spurred 2 for-profit organizations within the region that are doing quite well, like Shinydocs and Igloo Software, can thank that investment quite a bit.
Well, that's good, isn't that nice?
Yeah, doesn't it feel nice?
Yay, $7 million.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what I focused on. It was probably not just for that.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of change.
Yeah.
And it gives you a big head start on that
It's like
type
just
of
half
thing.
of what I have. But, you know.
Yeah.
Just a half. Good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're doing well. You'll get there.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so we.
Please continue.
Yeah, it allowed us to. Okay, so now we got cash in the bank and time to experiment with a few things. Experimented with some web technologies and that never really hit from a. I couldn't really come up with anything web-based that I was really hit my 3 good-paying customers. One thing that really hit was I built a BlackBerry application that connected to OpenText Content Server, to Exchange, and a few other content management systems, purely from a document management standpoint. There wasn't a lot in the market that did this. Ours had a couple of key advantages, and I started showing it to people. Like RIM at the time, now BlackBerry, was interested in purchasing this, showed it to OpenText Corporation. They're like, we need some of that. Can you come, because we don't like the fact that you're doing it on your own, can you come here and do what you did at CG and help us do new product development on this? So set up camp in there.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, that. So all it took was a handshake and money and love, and so we set up camp at OpenText Corporation for a few years. Starting in 2009, built the team up to, by about 2011, we're 12 people on the 4th floor of the brand new building at OpenText. So I think it's 17,000 square feet or something like that. We had a kitchen, washrooms.
Yeah.
It was
Very nice.
rent-free. I'm not going to complain at all. And we were a full-on skunkworks organization within OpenText doing new product development.
Wow.
We helped them release their first mobile application, and helped them do 40 other projects, including their G20 summits and and other Office of the President initiatives, and other new products. So
Well, that's a really smart entrepreneur, because we've not heard anybody that's done their own incubators within a company. It's almost like an accelerator, or because you're just being housed and working on a specific problem.
Yeah, we haven't heard that model before.
It's great. Yeah, it's really smart.
Well, you got to get in with the right customer too. Like at the time, it was Eugene Roman, who's now, if you're not familiar with Eugene, he's the one that set up the Canadian Tire initiatives at Communitech, and then later on they opened up their own offices across the street. So he's still there as the CTO. He was
CTI, Canadian Tire Innovations, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and they were really interested. Let's experiment. Let's try new things. Let's try on different ways that we can engage customers and really start delivering on our message of let's move people to the cloud. Let's start getting people on demand. Let's start making our products a little bit more modern. And it's hard to do that internally within an organization, because if you're an old company, you got a bug list. What's your priority? You got to work on the bug list, keep the current customers happy. So them to have their own Skunkworks team, which was mature, aggressive, it was a really positive thing.
Intrapreneurs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So since then, Adam Howitson, who's now the Chief Marketing Officer, he's kind of taken the lead with us with OpenText. So when we come up with new ideas or initiatives, he's very engaged. He likes our team. He likes what we can do. So when we came up with the Shiny Drive, the original technology that I talked to you about at the start of the call, which is our flagship product for Shinydocs Corporation, OpenText right away looked at it and said, prove it to us a little bit. And once you've proven it a little bit, we're on board. We want to resell it.
Great. We're going to ask you some questions
Sure.
that we want you to answer.
Yes.
How about that?
So
Let's
the
do
first
that.
one.
What are some wins that your company's had? What are some successes, or just quick things that have been, that was clearly a good thing for Shinydocs?
Sure. The most important thing, number one, was securing our first really big customer.
Was it OpenText?
No, it was Derby City Council.
Oh, cool.
In the United Kingdom. It was a referral from another organization that we'd been working with. They have some very significant records management requirements, and they were having trouble getting the adoption of the systems that they needed. So when we went in there, they had very low adoption of their OpenText content server. They had quite a bit of data outside of the systems. We managed to increase the utilization of their OpenText systems several 100%.
Wow.
That's big.
So that's a good
overnight.
Yeah.
Immediately, maybe we'll give you the graph and you could flash it up. It is a crazy significant
hockey stick
increase. Graph? Yeah, and it allowed them to do a couple of things. Crazy hockey stick. It allowed them to do a couple of things. They're like, okay, people are using this now, and there's confidence in the system. Let's start eliminating other systems. So they eliminated a competitive system called Information at Work. 2.1 million documents came in.
That's scary.
Yeah, they also eliminated another little system called SharePoint. So all of their SharePoint system came in, and now they're 100% using our software.
Cool. That's a huge win.
It was a huge win.
All right.
So you're internationally known.
We are internationally known.
And you're
I'm
known
keeping this tight
to
and
rock the
short. This is when
microphone.
I'm going to start getting mean.
Keep going.
Yeah.
All right, what's number 2?
Yeah. So number 2 was inking the reseller agreement with OpenText.
Yeah, that would be a huge win, for sure.
That happened after the Derby City deal. We'd had a few
what
other
dates are we
direct
talking
deals.
about?
In it's April of last year.
Okay.
So within about a month or so of signing the deal, we built up a sales funnel of over $2 million. We executed on 10% of that within a month. It was a massive sales debut. And there was a lot of pent-up energy associated with that, and then we went on to have a really great year.
A lot of poker chips being handed
All
around.
right,
Yeah.
Your third win of
Number
Shinydocs.
3, it's being the Global Technology Partner of the Year.
This shiny award right
Yeah,
here.
that shiny award right there.
Did you require that it was shiny? Like, I feel like that should be a requirement.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that it was shiny.
It's been polished 4 or 5 times since arriving.
Yeah.
I do see David's fingerprint right in the middle of it.
Oh, really?
There.
Well, it is
David,
his job to
just
keep
so
it
you know.
shiny. That's kind of a marketing function.
So awesome wins. How about some struggles? Anything that you can share?
Lots of struggles. So
what are some things that would be useful for other people to hear about?
So the first thing is you can tell it's been like a 10-year overnight success with this.
Yeah,
so
overnight.
we're doing really well now, and we're generating revenue. We've never had to take on any outside investments, so we're cash flow positive. Those things are good now. But over the course of the 10 years, was huge swings.
The ramen years?
Down. What's that?
The ramen years.
The ramen years?
Ramen noodles.
Like having to eat ramen noodles
okay.
because you don't have any money.
For
That's
sure.
what he's trying to say.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd
Thanks,
gone
Mars.
for the longest stretch was like 2 years without taking a salary from Shinydocs
Right.
Corporation.
Yeah, let's count that as
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
number
Right.
one. I borrowed
money.
I borrowed $250,000 against my home in order to
That's
make
number two.
payroll for a number
Yeah.
for a
Well,
time.
but that's the reality of a lot
Yeah.
of these companies. Yeah. I mean, you got to make it work.
Yeah, for sure. And if I pick, like to me, my number one, and I already got two
All right,
in there.
all right. Okay, so you're-
my number one is don't get discouraged when you don't pick your winner first. Like I described 5 different initiatives or 4 or 5
Right.
different initiatives. The drive thing that we always wanted to do but never got around till until about 2011 or 2012. That's fine. It's your winner came along. There are other organizations who
Yeah.
maybe accidentally or on purpose they hit their winner on their first try. Good for
Right.
you. That's great. For the rest of us, you don't. But
Yeah.
don't let that discourage you. Just keep working at it and using good methodologies. Find your customers, validate it, fail fast, and then you'll find your winner.
You're still working on the VR sort of Tony Stark document management
Oh, for sure.
system,
No,
right?
I'd be delighted
That
when
would
that
be
comes
cool.
along. Yeah, I just want to be bulletproof.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
What?
that would be great.
You remember
Yeah.
that Iron Man when he's doing his documents and
Well, I remember Minority Report when he does the stupid things in the
that
air.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a document management system. That'd be
Yeah,
really
we want
cool.
the
Horrible
precogs too.
Yeah.
That'd be. We could make some money with that.
That would be cool. Call
Yeah.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll invest.
Okay, I'm in.
Don't throw my money in there. All $12
Okay,
I
Steve's
have.
in.
I'm in.
That you said half of 7 million.
Yeah.
No, I said that I have double 7 million.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But I'm
Oh,
not
14.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay,
Nah.
stock's
Yeah.
gone up a lot since the start of this meeting.
So is that 3 losses?
Yeah, that's 3 losses.
Yeah.
All right. So what are 3 things that Shinydocs going to do in the future?
So 3 things that we're going to do in the future. Most importantly, we're growing right now.
Okay, like
And
everyone else in town.
yeah.
So how are you growing?
So we are we're growing equal parts front end and back end. When I say front
Okay.
end, I mean sales and marketing,
Okay.
and in customer facing, and in back end R&D. We have a strong need for R&D right now. It's a very competitive market, and the pitch that I would want to make for anybody who's looking for something to do, forget ping pong tables and foosball tables, and start thinking about, wouldn't you like to be one of the first 20 employees at an organization that is taking off? An organization that's still offering meaningful stock for their early employees? Like if you look back to Research in Motion back in the early days, wouldn't you love to have been one of the first 20 people there? I'm not saying we're going to grow up to be the biggest company in Canada, but I know we're growing.
Right.
And these
So
people
it's an
could be part of that. Yeah.
Exciting opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. You're growing. What's number 2?
So number 2 is we're coming out with new product lines as well.
Okay.
We love what we're doing
You
with
did,
OpenText
you did say you were
Corporation.
doing a lot of research and development. So
Yes, exactly. So you're going to see over the about next 3 months a little bit of a rebranding.
Ooh,
Yeah, Shinydocs
exciting.
Digital Enterprise.
Okay.
So the initiative that we're taking on is right now organizations will have petabytes of shared drive data. We're finding ways of managing that bigger set of data.
Okay.
It's a difficult problem, and nobody's doing it very well right now. So, we're tackling
we
that.
may see exciting things coming from Shinydocs in the near future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
More
what's
exciting
what's
things.
number 3? What are, I don't know, long term? What are you going to do?
So
Take over the world?
yeah. Like I mean, you gotta have a vision for what you're trying to do.
Is that the 5-year plan? Or?
Yeah, the 5-year plan is to grow revenue as best as we can,
Right.
and really just continue doing that with customer success stories.
Right.
So we make sure that we don't have any shelfware. When people buy our software, we stick with them to make sure they get it deployed and get people using it. We would love to be a $100 million a year company. And if you set your target on that as a sales focus with a strong install base, it could be achievable.
Yep.
That some organizations say we're going to build strong technology that we can sell the organization. That's a way of going about it. That's not necessarily our plan. Mind you, obviously, it's if somebody comes along with something ridiculous, we would, of course, consider it. But you
You're
got to have a
taking calls.
vision. Yeah, we'll take the call, absolutely. But yeah, it's our vision is to grow this thing as best as we can.
Great.
So sort of a lather, rinse, repeat. You guys be doing it
Yes.
well, just keep rolling it in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dave, that was for you.
You don't
Another
even
one?
have any hair. You can't do lather, rinse, repeat.
I have to wash my beard now.
Neither of you do.
Yeah.
This is not.
That's
yeah.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
a hairless
Anyways.
podcast.
Exactly. I didn't get the metaphor at all. being a hairless man.
Okay, so that's Shinydocs. Now, it's your time.
Yeah?
Say it.
Who who's your hashtag startup crush
You know
here
what?
locally?
I
Not
want to.
necessarily locally.
Oh, yeah, not even.
Yeah.
I'm cool with locally. So I like when I see an organization trying something that hasn't been done or hasn't been done well before. So when you look at like Change It and what Dave Beaton's trying to do there, I love the initiative. It's not necessarily killing it. Like they've got great relationships and they're working it very well. But it's something that I'm really cheering for because you look at the idea and you're like, yes, the world needs something like that, and I really cheer for them and hope that they're successful.
I agree.
I know where they are. We could do that.
You know where they live?
I do know where they live.
What about you, Amaris? Do you have a startup crush this week?
I do. I'm going to go with Waterloo Poker Classic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Last night?
Yeah, because I was there last night.
Yep. Did you win?
I didn't play.
So you didn't lose?
I just kind of stood there. Did a lot of standing around, talking to people. Not even talking, just kind of stood there. No, but I like it. I mean, it's not a for-profit venture, and I mean, I kind of like those, and that I tend to work for a lot of those. TSP. But it's Nabil. It's another Nabil project, and he's been doing it for a couple years, and it's just he likes poker and he likes people and he likes the community. So he and other people have made this into a really cool thing. And I mean, the fact that there was about 100 people there playing to win money, and they all looked very serious.
Yeah.
It was all very serious. There definitely need to be more females playing poker because it was just a little bit too male dominated, but. It was a cool event. It was at Center in the Square. I like that. So I like that he's doing that and growing that. And
is Nabil the guy that's doing the black market hummus?
Black market hummus.
Yep.
He also works at Shopify. He's just kind of an all-around cool guy.
Really neat.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with mine with iCheck. We were going to have iCheck on, but we took a couple weeks off, or I did because I went on vacation. So Rachel at iCheck, we're going to talk to her at some point. But they're doing some really cool things. So they're my startup crush for this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Thanks.
I have things to tell you later.
Awesome gossip. I love gossip.
There you go.
So what's next?
That's it.
That's it.
Any parting shots?
How do we follow Shinydocs?
Yeah.
Other than just getting in the car and following you.
Yeah.
We're creepy like that.
Get on Twitter. We're at Shinydocs, of course, on Twitter. www.shinydocs.com has a lot of our new digital enterprise branding.
Okay.
We are over on Coronet Lane. Our official address is River Road, and it has some history in the organization. If you search Coronet Lane, you might find a sordid past, but that's fun.
That's sort of Victoria Street, just past
Victoria
the expressway.
River. That's correct. Out there. We are expanding from our 2,000 square feet that we have right now to 4,000 square feet very shortly, within the next month. So
we snuck a little future thing in there again.
Yeah,
that was an extra feature.
Yeah.
So lots of room for new developers. So
hire
a new developer who wants to get in on the ground floor, working at an organization where the CEO is a developer.
That's a good commercial. I like that.
And
little HR pitch.
Please check us out. Yeah.
Yes.
Call you.
Call me. Yeah.
Any that was your parting pitch, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
Who are we talking to next time?
I don't know who's next week.
Cool, we'll find out.
Yeah, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you
can
have.
tell. So, Jason, thanks very much for joining us. Jason Cassidy from Shinydocs, for Amaris Gerson from everywhere, and myself, Stephen Campbell. Thanks for joining us on episode 102. We'll see you on episode 103.